Welcome to Yoga for Everyday. Namaste. My name is Natalie Sari. I'm a kinesiologist and a yoga teacher, applying the therapeutic tools of yoga into everyday life. And today's episode is focused on stress and anxiety, which I think many of us face in our day-to-day lives. There's many different tools we can utilize from the yoga practice that are very simple, and we can slide them into our day-to-day to help us under stressful situations and to bring in a sense of calm and happiness. For this particular practice, it is really nice if you can start seated, perhaps even against a wall. When we're against a wall, we have the support behind us. We know what's behind us. And we have the visual knowledge of what's in front of us. And this can bring in a sense of calm in itself. Take a comfortable seat, whether you're in a chair or if you want to take a moment and get next to a wall. Sitting up on a blanket or a block so that the hips are slightly elevated can make it more comfortable as well. I'd like you to close your eyes and practice a little visual imagery as to what's going on inside the body. From a kinesiology perspective, it's important to understand the anatomy and physiology of what's going on within and what happens when we're under stress. The vagus nerve. Imagine this nerve that begins at the very top, attaches to your brain, and travels through your neck, through the vocal cords, down the torso, affecting the heart, the lungs, through the digestive tract, and beyond. So one thing to highlight that's important is the vagal tone. The vagal tone is directly affected by our breathing rate. And this is why the yoga practice and breathing really has an effect on our body's stress responses, on our nervous system. When we take an inhalation, it slightly elevates the vagal tone, and when we exhale, it lowers it. Essentially, the bigger difference between these changes determines your ability to manage stress. There's ways that we can heighten our vagal tone so that we can handle stress more effectively in our bodies. So the question is, how can we stimulate the vagal nerve in a positive way to have a positive effect on our bodies? There's many different ways. A simple one is just massaging the abdomen. Massaging the abdomen stimulates the vagal nerve at that digestion level. So again, depending on what you'd like to focus on in particular, whether that be the gut, the belly, stomach upset, perhaps starting there. If you're simply just feeling stressed and anxious, one great place to start is at the top, which is around the eyes. When we place direct pressure to the eyes, it stimulates the vagus nerve and therefore helps to stimulate our parasympathetic nervous system to calm the body. This light pressure to the eyes stimulates the ocular cardiac nerve, which lowers our heart rate, which calms the body, and you'll feel a little more relaxed. It could be as simple as light massaging or using something like an eye pillow resting on your eyes. Various breathing practices have a tremendous effect on the vagus nerve. The first being slow diaphragmatic breathing. Often when we're stressed, we breathe shorter, higher up into the chest, not necessarily drawing the breath down to the lowest part of the belly, full expansion. Through the slow diaphragmatic breathing, we're able to stimulate the vagus nerve and bring in that sense of calm. The second is a really nice alternative. It's humming or speaking or singing. All three of them stimulate, of course, the vocal cords, which the vagus nerves runs through. So it could be as simple as humming your favorite song, or as in yoga practice, we chant the mantra Om, which is a long vibration of sound, the universal sound actually, which really stimulates that vagal nerve. And the third is meditation, but not just any meditation. A meditation focused on loving kindness. So we'll begin with the first yoga practice to stimulate this vagal nerve, which is the diaphragmatic breathing. It's nice if you can sit somewhere comfortably, like this, against the wall, or if this is uncomfortable, lying on the back is another nice option. As we discussed in a previous episode about belly breathing, it's similar to that. So this may be a little review for some of you. Take one hand on top of your chest, the other hand onto your belly, and close your eyes. Begin by observing your natural breath without changing it in any way. Draw the breath in a little lower now so that the belly begins to expand as the breath draws in lower. And on the second breath, see if you can do that again, breathing into the belly, but also expanding into your ribs. As you exhale, exhale all the air, so there's no residual air left, no stale air in the lungs. So each breath is full and complete. And as you breathe, notice if you're holding tension anywhere, even if holding your hands here is creating a little bit of tension. Now that you have the belly breath, the diaphragmatic breathing going, you may release your hands down and keep it going. Try to find the most comfortable position as you continue to do this style of breath. As you breathe, notice where you feel it. See if you can make the inhale and exhale match each other. In Sanskrit, this is called samavriti, and it's a very balancing breath as both are equal or mirroring each other, which is very balancing for the two hemispheres of the brain, and again, very calming for the body. There are various breathing practices that one could use within their yoga practice or meditation practice. And some of those, if they perhaps involved a little pause or a holding of the breath, or a quick breathing practice, that could potentially increase anxiety and stress. So for this purpose today, the focus would be slow and natural and relaxing. Take one more breath, just like this. Let it go completely. Good. The sound Om, practicing one sound of Om as a humming sound. Take a deep breath in. Very stimulating as you listen to your own sound, the vibrations of the humming of Om or any sound really, or any song. And if you want to really hone in on that, what you can do is take your hands and create little cups without sealing off completely, but lightly hovering over your ears, and then trying that again. Take a deep breath. Heightens that vibration even more. But it immediately brings out a sense of calm. It's such a powerful tool. So you can apply that anywhere, but if you're somewhere in public, maybe just explain to them that you're practicing your vibration of humming from meditation. The third practice, breathing practice, that can be very useful when under stress and anxiety is the practice of letting go. big exhale. We tend to hold on to stress in our bodies and in our minds. And the simple practice of taking a deep breath, exhale and letting it go can bring out an incredible sense of relief, especially if you can envision in your mind what that is that you're trying to let go of. But for today, let's practice this 2 times, 2 big breaths. You'll take a deep inhale. Shoulders may rise up a little. And as you exhale, let the shoulders relax. Again, deep breath in. Grow a little taller, shoulders rise. And as you exhale, let the shoulders relax completely. That can be done certainly throughout the day, anytime, or even within your physical yoga practice, the asana practice, which we will get into right now. There may be a few props that could be beneficial for your yoga practice. Bolsters are really great. Not everybody has these, but I will show you how you could utilize this today. The second may be a block, and it could be a foam block. This one is a wood block. And then a blanket can be really useful for kneeling and other positions for comfort. So the first position is called Child's Pose, one of the key restorative yoga poses, really wonderful for relaxation. You can have your knees wide, and for some, sliding out and having your head resting upon the hands can be really nice. If it's uncomfortable for your legs, you can let your hips lift up a little bit or even slide something underneath the knees. If you have a bolster or a couple big pillows even, or folding a few pillows, you can take that and lay over top of it so that you're a little bit higher up. The head can then turn to one side. So in the child's pose, our head, of course, supported slightly in line or slightly lower than the heart if the head was on the floor. After being here for a few moments, you'd turn your head to the other side. In this pose, each exhale, you may find a little more space as gravity works against your body, the body calming. Take a few moments in that posture. You could stay there for minutes if comfortable. If you start to experience any discomfort in your knees or anywhere else, then feel free to adjust. The second posture we'll move into is on hands and knees, called cat-cow. Aligning your limbs so the shoulder, elbow, and wrist are in line, and the knees and hips are in line. Starting in a neutral spine, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, begin tucking the chin, pushing into your hands, widening across the upper back, shoulder blades. The lower back presses up, and then the tailbone tucks under. As you inhale, moving in the opposite direction into a slight arching of the back. And if you have any neck concerns, keep the head looking somewhere in this range rather than looking up, as that can place a lot of pressure in the cervical spine. And then see if you can link these 2 movements with your breath. You'll take a deep breath in. As you exhale, tuck the chin, press into the hands, widen the upper back, low back, tailbone. Inhale, moving in the opposite direction. Sometimes it can be difficult to coordinate the breath with the movement, but keep practicing. Pause if you need to, reset. You'll notice where you feel stiff or tight in the back as you're moving, so feel free to pause anywhere you need to if you need to adjust. Could be in the shoulders, the neck, maybe somewhere in your back. Loosening up the body. One more breath. Exhale, rounding the spine. And then slowly press all the way back to child's pose number 2. This is a different version. So this time you'll slide your hands back by your feet and have the head a bit lower, legs closer together. Again, if this is uncomfortable, you could take your blanket and place it just underneath the forehead. So here, the head a little bit lower than the heart, receiving nourishment of this subtle inversion. The belly pressing into the thighs. As you breathe there, the back body expands. Take a few moments to relax the shoulders, your upper body. Slide the hands forward. Inhale, slowly rise up. Pause. When you've had your head down, it's nice to take your time with those transitions and pause in between the poses. From here, we'll move to standing, but we'll take our time to get there. So begin by coming to your feet. Take a wide stance, generous bend of the knees, relax the head and neck. Slowly begin to rise up. And if you need a little bit of help from your hands, you could bring your hands to your thighs. Keep the head heavy, slowly coming up, a rolling, rising up. And once you arrive, lift the shoulders up to your ears, roll your arms back, exhale out the mouth. From here, position your feet a little bit wider than hip distance today. Spread out the toes so you have a really strong, comfortable base of support. Take a deep breath in, lift the arms just to shoulder height for today. And as you exhale, float them back down. Inhale, reaching out to the side, shoulder height. Exhale, release. One more time, take a deep breath in. A subtle lift of the chest and the chin this time. Exhale to release. Good. Take the hands back to the legs, bend the knees. Coming into a wider version of chair pose where there's much more space and comfort. Your hands can stay on your thighs if you need that support. You can also bring your hands together at the center of the chest, gently pressing them together. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale. And again, you can close your eyes, working a little bit of strength in the legs, but finding a sense of calm within that challenge. One more breath. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Fold forward. Keep a soft bend in the knees and allow the body to ragdoll. So you may move a little side to side. You could take your hands to opposite elbows and gently sway from one side to the other. Loosening the back body. Come back to center. Remind the head and neck to let go. Release your arms. Bend the knees. Again, hands can come to your legs, or second option is to reach your arms out to the side, coming up and beginning to neutralize the spine. Exhale, release your hands. From here, take your feet right underneath you. Look down at your feet, spread the toes out. Tree pose. One balancing posture, which has a tremendous grounding effect on our bodies as well as our minds. If your balance is challenged, what you can do is have one hand and lightly touch the wall, which may help. The most important part with your setup is your supporting legs, spreading the toes on the bottom leg. The other leg can turn in. Step one could be to have the toes lightly touching the floor. 2, taking your foot to your calf, to the lower leg. Not pushing directly on the knee, so either just below or just above the knee, somewhere in that range. Make that contact, pressing foot and leg into each other. Standing a little taller. You may draw the belly in slightly to engage the deeper core muscles. A little lift of the sternum, the chest, collarbones broad, shoulders wide. Your hands could be either on your waist for a little support, hands together. See if you can now find one spot, it could be on the floor somewhere dead ahead of you, that you can use as what's called your drishti, your point of focus. Hone in on that and come back to that nice, smooth diaphragmatic breathing. One more breath. Exhale out the mouth. Release. Pause for a moment. Take a deep breath in. Reach your arms out to the side. Exhale, release the hands back down. And same on the other side. You'll look down, spread the toes out. Now, often we have one side that is a little easier to balance on or feels more natural. So this may be your better side. Take a moment to find your stability through your supporting leg. Press the foot and leg into each other. A subtle drawing down of the tailbone, engagement of the core. A subtle lift of the sternum, broadening of the collarbones. Hands to hips or hands together. And again, find drishti or your point of focus. It could be a different spot this time. Take one more deep breath. Exhale out the mouth. Release. Again, pause. Deep inhale. Arms could reach out to the side once more. And as you exhale, let it go. Couple light shoulder rolls. Good. Moving towards the floor. Take a deep breath in. This time bring your hands to your hips, and as you exhale, you'll hinge forward. Bend your knees, but keeping the spine a little bit longer, more of a neutral spine. And then at some point, you'll release your hands down to the floor and come back down. One leg down, other leg down, hands and knees. Take a deep breath here. Good, pressing back to child's pose again. And you may find this third child's pose that you get down to the floor a little bit easier now that you're more warmed up. Slowly rise up. Good, then turning to one side to move to seated, and then we'll move to our backs. As you come down to your back, you may bend your knees, hands can return to the belly or the chest. Take a few breaths there. Both feet on the floor for bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. So bridge posture is nice because we're moving with the breath in this particular one, and it creates some stretch and length for the back body, but also activating the legs. Have the feet about hip distance and slide the feet up so that they're a few inches from your hands. Draw the shoulders under, shoulder blades down the back. Find a neutral spine, so there'll be a small space here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, pressing down through the feet, rising up through the hips. Holding here, take a deep breath. Exhale. You may use a little support of your hands, but try not to press with your arms. Have most of the strength coming from the legs. One more breath. And then use this exhale to come down. Slowly release down to the floor. Good. Knees can come together. Pause there for a moment. That could be repeated several times if you like. And from here, rolling onto your side, rising up. If you have a bolster, we'll use bolster. If you have a couple pillows that you could stack, or taking one and folding it in half, that may work as well. Laying over top of the bolster, but with support. So if I were to lay all the way over, it would create quite a generous back bend, which can be comfortable for some. But today we're going to support it. So we could take this under the head, or maybe even taking it one step higher. Sometimes it's nice just to soften it up with a blanket. So as I lay over the bolster, the head will rest on the block. So I can wiggle around and adjust to a place that feels comfortable for the back. The legs could stay long, or you could bring them into Baddha Konasana, the butterfly shape, or even cross-legged, which also opens up through the psoas and the groin. Your hands could be on your belly. You're also welcome to take your arms out to the side, which will open the shoulders and the chest. Take a few breaths in this place that's, yes, very open in the front body, but very supportive. Gently push into your legs, and it's like bridge pose again. Move your props down so that it's underneath the legs. So removing the block and having just the blanket there can be really nice. Having the knees slightly bent can also be more comfortable for the back. In this position, the body generally is able to relax a little more than simply laying flat on the back, especially if you don't generally lay on your back. You may find that uncomfortable when you're first starting. This is a wonderful place to use the eye pillow. Placing it over top of the eyes. Also a nice place to put a little bit of essential oils, such as lavender, which is very relaxing for the body and the mind. That soft, gentle pressure to the eyes, stimulating the vagus nerve. And once you are ready to release, see if you can keep your eyes closed. Stretch one arm out to the side, rolling to right side, rolling onto your arm so that you can use it as a pillow, curling up on your side, taking a refreshing breath there, and then using your hands to slowly rise up to seated. When you come to seated, it's nice to sit right back against something if you have a wall nearby, and pause there for a moment. A nice place for a short mini meditation after Shavasana 2. And then when you're ready, slowly blink your eyes open and notice the sense of calm and clarity within. I hope you found at least a few simple tools that you can apply into your everyday life that will help with stress and anxiety. Thank you. Namaste.